So friends, there has been a lot of wringing of hands and gnashing of teeth over the reported allegation that District Attorney Fani Willis, who's heading up the Georgia State RICO prosecution of Trump and his criminal associates, may be having or may have had a personal relationship with one of the several special counsel that she hired to be part of the Trump prosecution team. Well, friends, we are going to focus on the most important question. Even assuming it to be true, and we don't know yet, but assuming it to be true, is there any legal significance of that to the case against Donald Trump and his 18 RICO co-defendants? And let me not bury the lead. The answer is almost certainly no. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, you have undoubtedly seen at least some of the reporting. It's been saturating the news. This allegation that Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis, who's heading up the RICO prosecution of Donald Trump and his 18 criminal associates, his co-conspirators, his charged co-defendants, that Fani Willis, may be involved in or may have had previously a personal relationship with one of the several special counsel she hired, she brought in to be part of the team to, conduct this massive RICO prosecution against Trump and company? Well, let's start, as always, with the new reporting, and then let's break it down. Let's talk about whether this really has any legal significance to the prosecution of Trump and his criminal associates. First, the new reporting. This from the New York Times: how allegations of an office romance came to complicate the case against Trump. And that article begins: Fani Willis ran for district attorney in Georgia Fulton County in 2020 with the slogan "Integrity Matters," and frequently pummeled the incumbent, her former boss, with accusations of ethical lapses. Soon after her victory, she set up a group to interview job candidates called the Integrity Transition Hiring Committee. One of its members was Nathan Wade, a lawyer and municipal court judge from the Atlanta suburbs, whom she counted as a longtime friend and mentor. Indeed, it was the personal bond they shared that Miss Willis has described as a key to her decision to hire him to lead the criminal case of a lifetime, her office's prosecution of former President Donald Trump for his efforts to overturn his 2020 election loss. Quote, "I need someone I can trust," she said in a 2022 interview. But in recent days, allegations have surfaced that Mr. Wade was not only a mentor to Miss Willis, but also a romantic partner. The allegations first appeared publicly in a court motion filed this month by Michael Roman, one of Mr. Trump's 14 co-defendants in the Georgia case. That same day, according to court documents, Miss Willis received a subpoena to testify from Mr. Wade's wife in their divorce case. In an interview with the New York Times, a person familiar with the situation said Miss Willis and Mr. Wade had grown close after meeting in a legal education course for judges in 2019, some 2 years before Miss Willis hired Mr. Wade as special prosecutor in the Trump case. Miss Willis, who has been divorced since 2005, has not addressed the allegations of a romantic relationship, nor has Mr. Wade. Miss Willis's office said it would reply to Mr. Roman's motion in court filings. Okay, friends, let's start with this. This is obviously an unhelpful distraction in the RICO prosecution of Donald Trump and his 18 criminal associates, 4 of whom have already pleaded guilty and agreed to testify against Trump and the remaining co-defendants. But distractions are what Donald Trump is all about. You know, Donald Trump will never win in a court of law on the facts or on the law. The evidence against him, the evidence showing that he committed crimes against the American people and the American voters and the voters in Georgia, the evidence is overwhelming, irrefutable, and he will be convicted when these cases finally move into trial proper. So all he has are distractions, right? Trying to dig up dirt on his perceived enemies, whether, truthful or not, throw it into the public square and hope that he can distract the public's attention away from the evidence of his guilt. Still, it is an unhelpful distraction, right? It tends to divert attention away from the crimes that were committed. Let's talk about the Georgia prosecution by Donald Trump, Mark Meadows, Rudy Giuliani, Jeffrey Clark, Jenna Ellis, John Eastman, Sidney Powell, Kenneth Chesebro, and the 11 other RICO defendants in the Georgia case. But really, the most important question, and the only legally relevant question at this point, is, even assuming these allegations of a personal relationship to be true, is that of any legal significance to the case, to the prosecution of Donald Trump and his criminal associates, his co-conspirators, his charged co-defendants? Have the defendants' rights been violated? Have the defendants suffered prejudice? Have their due process rights somehow been infringed? The answer to those questions, based on what has been reported, based on what we know thus far, is no. The fact that there may still be some personal relationship among prosecution team members does not interfere with the defendant's rights to a fair trial. It doesn't prejudice them in any way. Oh, they're going to kick up some dust about it. And frankly, the good news is Judge McAfee is going to hold a hearing. That is always a good thing. Don't bury any of it. Let's get it out in the harsh light of day. Transparency is always a good thing, invariably a good thing. And we'll see, what the facts are, and Judge McAfee will make a decision about not whether District Attorney Willis did something that might be of concern, might even be inappropriate, might even necessitate some referral to State Bar Council for investigation to see if there's any there on the ethics front. That is really not Judge McAfee's issue to decide. His issue to decide is, were the defendants prejudiced? Have their rights been violated by this revelation, assuming it to be true that there was or is some personal relationship among prosecution team members? And again, based on the reporting thus far, based on what I have seen, it may be unhelpful, but it's not legally significant, consequential, or prejudicial to the defendants. So we'll wait and see what other information or evidence develops, but unless there is something blockbuster that we have not seen in any of the reporting thus far, it seems like this will have absolutely no impact on the continued prosecution of Donald Trump and his 18 criminal associates, co-conspirators, co-defendants down in Georgia. And when this case finally gets to trial, with however many defendants choose not to plead guilty and cooperate, however many defendants demand their trial, as is their right, I have a feeling we are going to see one very strong case on the merits. And Trump and company, I believe, will be held accountable for the crimes they committed in their determination to overturn the results of the Georgia state presidential election. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.